A girl tries going out without panties for the first time, but finds a creepy man leering at her with a lustful smile. She feels a hint of unease, anxiously tugging at her skirt, but unexpectedly the man doesn't back off. Instead, he steps right in front of the girl. The sudden pressure makes her freeze. Seeing the girl doesn't resist, the man grows even bolder. Passengers in the carriage seem to notice something's wrong. A woman takes out her phone and secretly snaps a picture, but unexpectedly the man sees her. The woman hurriedly puts her phone away. The man directly reaches out his arm, orders the woman to hand it over, claiming she had no right to take pictures. The woman doesn't want trouble, so she obediently hands it over. And the other passengers in the carriage adopt a mind-your-own-business attitude, tells him she's live streaming. The man hearing this loses his composure, and more women stand up. They all take out their phones, forming a powerful alliance. The man's arrogance completely vanishes. When the train arrives at the station, police are already waiting outside. After this incident, the two become friends, but because Daisy has something to do, they agree to have dinner together Wednesday night. Later, Daisy arrives at the student's home to tutor, but this becomes the start of her nightmare. To transfer files, one hurriedly grabs his father's USB drive. Unknowingly, it contains some shady stuff. The father, seeing this, quickly tells his son, says it's all private stuff, but by then Daisy has already plugged it into the computer. Her expression instantly turns serious. Curly rushes in trying to stop her, but it's already too late. He naively thinks it's just his father's action movies, so he admits the stuff is his own. With no other way, the pastor admits it's his own. Seeing Daisy's disbelief, he quickly adds that someone else gave it to him. The church deacon approached him last night, hoped he could help keep this USB drive, but the woman doesn't want to hear his explanation. She demands it be handed over to the police, but the pastor thinks the deacon is fragile, might even kill himself over this. He firmly refuses Daisy's suggestion, and puts the USB drive in his pocket. But this excuse isn't convincing at all. Seeing Daisy wants to leave, the pastor admits the stuff is his, but she's no fool, sees right through the pastor's intention. After thinking for a long time, the pastor decides to lock the door. He needs a perfect solution. His wife is furious learning this. She thinks her husband must be crazy to do such a beastly thing, but thinking of their son's future, the woman calms down. She suddenly realizes it's been quiet down there. To prevent Daisy from escaping, the pastor goes down to check. Turns out Daisy is hiding fearfully in a corner. She holds a hammer telling him to let her leave, but the pastor hopes she can calm down and talk. And by now Daisy also realizes the pastor won't risk letting her go. She doesn't know how to handle this. Then Daisy warns the pastor she has dinner plans with a friend tomorrow night. Then someone will notice her missing, and police will find this place from her schedule. Meanwhile, to stop the woman from doing anything rash, the pastor finds his toy from the drawer, also takes a blanket. He hopes Daisy will handcuff herself. Facing the man's unreasonable demand, Daisy wants to resist, but she knows it's futile. At night, the pastor goes to the deacon's house. He hopes to resolve this properly, but the old man tells him his son went to a bar. Helpless, he goes to look for him. The deacon acts very nervous seeing him. The pastor takes out the USB drive, hopes he'll take it back, but the man keeps looking at his friend, says the stuff isn't his, has never even seen it. This surprises the pastor. He doesn't understand why the man is lying.
Why are you saying that's mine? That's not mine.
You gave this to me.
No, I didn't. I didn't!
You're lying.
You're lying!
The pastor is furious hearing this, sneaks into the church to confess. The pastor puts on holy garments, approaches the man, hopes he can confess everything before God. Then the pastor puts down the USB drive, slowly walks behind the man. He promises no one can hear them here, but secretly turns on his phone's recorder. The man recognizes his mistake. He begins to confess, but whenever key questions are asked, the man always avoids certain topics. It seems that some force is preventing him. He seems in great pain, even starts doubting God. Finally curls up on the floor, keeps saying he wants to die. The pastor helplessly picks up his phone, clearly not the result he wanted. But seeing the man's agony, the pastor's heart softens. He takes the man back to his room, and saves the USB content to the computer. The wife suggests canceling the woman's dinner first, by time to persuade Daisy, but the pastor thinks canceling won't solve anything. But just as they argue, the deacon has an accident at home, also leaves a suicide note, says don't believe the pastor is a pedophile, he's just protecting someone else. Next day, while the pastor is still troubled, he gets a call from the police, because the note mentions his name. They're coming to question him soon, but don't tell him the note's content. The couple feels reborn hearing this. The pastor hurriedly goes to the basement. He thinks the note is the man's confession, believes this will soon be cleared up, and then Daisy notices. The pastor's wife is secretly listening outside. She intentionally asks about the agreed deal. The pastor looks confused, and their conversation is heard by the woman upstairs. When the pastor asks what deal, Daisy quickly lies saying she might have remembered wrong, and quietly apologizes. Curly starts getting getting suspicious. Soon the police arrive. The pastor hides his phone in the bookshelf, and the wife goes to the basement so she can hear the conversation above. But unexpectedly, the deacon's suicide note doesn't help him. Instead makes police suspect the pastor is one. Hence the key clue left before suicide. Because police checked the bar's surveillance that night, they don't understand why a simpleton would leave this. Under repeated police questioning, the pastor's answers get more nervous. He doesn't know how to protect the deacon, while clearing his own suspicion. He makes up lie after lie. Finally, police deem the simpleton's note unreliable, and believe the pastor's explanation. But after this, he still couldn't prove his innocence to Daisy. The pastor goes to the cellar again, finds Daisy tied up tightly. She fearfully accuses the woman's behavior, and claims she suffered inhuman treatment. The pastor angrily confronts his wife, but unexpectedly she digs out an old and used gas stove, then locks all doors and windows. He will handle the rest alone. The pastor moves the stove to the basement. Then he uses tape to seal the gaps, but unknowingly his son sneaked in. Curly wants to know why his parents are like this, but Daisy, after being imprisoned so long, no longer trusts this family, just tells him to ask his father. But when he tries to open the door, finds it's locked from outside. Curly desperately calls out, but no one outside can hear. The pastor turns the music volume up high. He's searching for info on gas poisoning. Then he sets an alarm. Prays time will pass quickly. The pastor hopes to make it look like an accident, so even if police come, it's not murder. But he forgot about his son. Daisy hopes he'll call the police quickly, but Curly won't report his father, even if considered an accomplice. He won't take that risk. But then his phone shows low battery. Then the wife returns home, takes Daisy's belongings. She must return them before police find them. And now the two in the basement feel dizzy, but don't realize it's poisoning. Just then, Curly gets a call from his father, but he doesn't say where he is, just keeps asking if the teacher left. Hearing his father's affirmative answer, Curly is completely disappointed. He repeatedly begs his father to tell the truth, but ultimately doesn't get the answer he wants. Meanwhile, the wife goes to Daisy's home, but unexpectedly runs into Amy. The wife tries to flee, but Amy stops her. She claims to be Daisy's friend returning something, and Amy claims to be her roommate. To protect his son from punishment, the pastor picks up the hammer, smears the blood on his own hands. Then he takes out his phone and turns himself in, but unexpectedly just then, Daisy suddenly moves. Seeing her eyes move, the pastor hesitates. He picks up the hammer for a final blow. At the critical moment, Amy bursts in. Finally, Daisy is rescued after 2 days of captivity, and the pastor receives his due judgment.